Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum Falconians. How are you all, my class 8? This is your science general science unit and I am your teacher Ms. Ghazal Rahil from Falconers Grammar School Campus 9. So students, today we are going to continue our chapter pressure and moments. This is chapter number 10, and first in this chapter we've studied about pressure in gases, and then we in the last class we studied about and we discussed pressure in liquids. Also, I told you about what are the hydraulic machines. I hope it's clear to all of you. Now moving forward, today our topic is levers and moments. You have to open your book, which is on page number 143. Kindly open your books, students. Okay, students. First of all, we are going to understand what are levers. Forces can have a turning effect. All we know about it. Okay, this means forces can make things turn about a turning point. This turning point is called pivot. Here is a diagram where a man is trying to lift this load. Okay, this load is acting downward. Okay, and this in the middle, this triangle type thing is pivot. This is the turning point. Here it will gonna help the load to be lifted up, and here is the effort made by this man. It is also in the downward direction. So in this way, what is pivot? Pivot is basically the turning point. Okay, this diagram is showing pivot, and now I am going to tell you a lever. What lever is? A lever is a simple machine which helps to make work easier. These are the things also. Few examples which are going to tell you about the effort, positions of effort, positions of load, and the turning point, that is pivot. Here when we open the tens, what we will gonna do? We will apply load, effort, and pivot is the point where we are going to open it or removing a tin lid. Same wise, there is an example of scissor, cutting string. These are the locations shown in the diagram where the effort and load and pivot is acting. There is another example of wheelbarrow carrying soil, locating the all locations of effort, load, and pivot. Now moving forward, in this example, the spanner is acting as a lever. You can see a lever is a simple machine. It's in helping to make works easier. So here is the distance between the turning point or pivot and the force is applied. This is the distance. Okay, and the moment is, what is moment? Moment is basically the force into distance, or a turning effect of the force is called moment. You can see for creating this moment or movement towards this direction, I have to apply, or the two things that are needed are force and distance. Is that clear from this example? So students, moments can be calculated with the formula moment is equals to force into the distance from the turning point pivot. In the end, we conclude that moment is a turning effect of a force. I hope it's clear to all of you that for calculating moment or producing moment, we have to require force and the distance from the turning point, that is the pivot. Students, one more thing. Moment can be produced in anti-clockwise direction and in clockwise direction both. So according to the direction of the force, we can understand what kind of moment it will gonna generate. With the locations of the forces, we can understand whether its moment is producing in the anti-clockwise direction or either it is producing in clockwise direction. Okay, for calculating moments, There is an example captured from your book, which is on page number 143. Look it carefully. There is a pivot in between, and there is 0.2 distance from the load to the pivot, whereas from the distance, effort to the pivot is 1.1 meter. Effort is equals to 300 Newton, whereas load is acting downward. What we have to calculate? We have to calculate the moment. Means a turning effect of the force. Force is 300 Newton. We have to calculate its value. Now, as we know that moment can be calculated with the formula force into the distance. Now, I have to calculate from the pivot to the load about the force value. Okay, what will gonna happen? There is a clockwise moment. 300 will gonna act in this direction. Okay, 300 is into 1.1, which will gonna make 330 Newton into meter. So we came to know that moment are calculated in Newton into meter, because force unit is Newton and distance are measured in meters. Same wise, we will calculate for the anti-clockwise moment. If the force is coming out, if the load is coming out 1500 Newton, what will gonna produce it? 1500 Newton into 0.2. 0.2 is the distance. After that, we will calculate it and we will get 300 Newton into meter. Is that clear? One more example which I want to discuss with you for calculating moments. Moments can be of two types. They can be balanced and they can be unbalanced. First of all, I am going to show you an example which will gonna tell you the concept of balanced moment. Here are the two loads, 600 Newton and 400 Newton. Both are aparted from different distances. 3 meter from the pivot, here 400 Newton, and Tom is aparted from the pivot equals to 2 meter. Okay students, what we have to calculate with the same formula, I am going to calculate the clockwise moment and anti-clockwise moment. For the 600, I have to multiply with the 2 meter. Then I'll get 1200 Newton meter moment in the clockwise direction, because it will gonna produce in the clockwise direction, because 600 will gonna move in this manner, and 400 will gonna move in the anti-clockwise direction. I have to multiply 400 with the distance 3. 400 Newton into 3 meter is equals to 1200 Newton meter. You can see both distances are different. Both forces are different. But with the moment are producing is the balanced one. Both came as 1200 Newton meter. Is that clear? In this case, we have balanced movement. Is that clear? Now another example which I want to discuss with you is that there is a Jill and Jack. Jill is of 200 Newton and Jack is applying force of 400 Newton. Both are aparted from the different distances, 1 meter and 3 meter. With the same formula, I have to calculate clockwise moment and anti-clockwise moment. You can see clockwise moment that is producing by the Jill with the 400 Newton force came out as 400 Newton meter, while anti-clockwise moment 200 into 3 will come 600 Newton meter. It means what? The anti-clockwise moment is 600 Newton meter. The seesaw tips down on the left side. Okay, is that clear to everyone? This is all for today's lecture. What you have to do, your assignment is to do question number 1 to question number 6 from book page number 145. It is simply very easy. I explained to you very briefly. I hope you can perform it very easily by yourself. Stay at home, stay safe, take precautions, wear mask, use hand sanitizers. May Allah protect all of you. Thank you for watching. Allah Hafiz. Fi amanillah.